Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Dawn of the Bread. Today we're going to make delicious soft milk enriched dough with milk, butter, eggs, sugar. It's going to be super soft burger buns, and this recipe is enough to make 8 in total. Now the ingredients will be in the description box down below. Here I have 500 grams of strong white bread flour. I always go by grams. I don't get along with cups. I do highly recommend getting gram scales, because my grams will be the same as your grams, and then if you do it this way you're always bound to get the same results each time. Anyway, 500 grams of strong white bread flour, 290 grams of lukewarm milk. In here I have 30 grams of softened unsalted butter, 1 large egg. In here I have 7 grams of dry active yeast. In there, next to the yeast, is 50 grams of 15 grams of caster sugar, sorry about that. And last of all, here I've got 7 grams of salt, and these are for the dough. And back here I have my tub of sesame seeds ready to put on just before we bake them. So the first thing we need to do is bloom the yeast. I want to make sure the yeast is alive and well. I do this every time just to give myself a little bit of cushion. You want to take your sugar and your yeast and add it to your lukewarm milk and stir that in so the sugar dissolves as well as the yeast. And you're going to want to let that sit now for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes until it's nice, frothy, bubbly and ready to go. And then we're going to go on with the next step. Now today we're going to be doing this dough in my stand mixer. If you haven't got a stand mixer, follow these same steps as the pan de mie loaf I did before. Add all the wet ingredients to the dry, bring the dough together, take the dough out onto the side, and then knead for 10 minutes. But in this case we're going to knead it in the stand mixer today. So I'll be back in 1 minute when this yeast is active and bubbly. And after 3 minutes or so, you will see that your yeast mixture, that should be nice and bubbly and active like this, and we're ready to go. So what I'm going to do first is take my stand mixer bowl, move that out of the way, add in my strong white bread flour straight to the bowl, followed by the salt, and I'll take a spoon and I'll mix that through just to get the salt one incorporated into the flour. And from here I'll take my yeast mixture, which is, as you can see, nice and bubbly and foamy. Give it a good mix up and pour that in straight into the flour. And I like to use a spatula here just to scrape down the jug, because every little bit of ingredient is always important. You'll be surprised what stays clinging onto the jug. And that is perfect. Put that to one side. Now add your 1 large egg, 30 grams of soft unsalted butter. Now this was quite firm, so all I do is pop it in the microwave for 10 seconds and it gets it soft enough for me. Now this is my stand mixer. I've got a little KitchenAid, does the job for me. I'd love a bigger one, but bloody hell aren't they expensive. And right, on we go. Remove the dough hook. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this on the slowest setting just until the dough comes together. And when it comes together, I'm going to scrape down the bowl with my bench scraper. Get it all nice and clean. Right, now I'm going to pause it. Lift up the head. You see it's all starting to come together. But what I like to do, just to help it along, is I'll scrape down the hook. Like so. Just quickly undo it from the bowl. I like to get my bench scraper, scrape down the bowl. You will find to begin with it'll have a tendency to stick to the sides and that, and this just gives it a little bit of a head start. Right, go to one side. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to start this on slow for a minute. I'm going to bump it up to setting 2, which is a medium speed. I'm going to need this for 10 minutes. Alright, so I will see you in 10 minutes, and I hope you enjoy this little zippy time lapse. And after 10 minutes of kneading, either by hand or by machine, your dough will be ready. So all you need to do now is release it from the dough hook. If you're using a machine like me, just use my hands, slide them off like this, dough hook out of the way, slide the machine out of the way, and this is what you're left with. Beautiful clean dough. Now this dough should be nice and elastic. Yep, look at that. You can see my finger kind of through it there. That's the window pane test. And all we need to do now is shape it into a ball. And as you can tell, it's not a sticky dough, see? It doesn't stick to the side. There's no need for any excess flour. So yeah, so what you want to do now is ball it up. You can do it one of two ways. Well, there's many ways to ball up a dough, to be honest. You can lie it down flat, you can grab the edges, bring it on itself, spin it all the way around until you get to where you started at, and flip the ball over like this, and then start to spin it, bring it up, let the friction of the counter tighten up that skin. You continue like this, or you can do the copying technique, which I use quite frequently. Basically, you take your hands like this, and there's the dough, and you want to bring your hands together while spinning the dough like this, so your hands meet. As I said, there's many ways of doing this. You just find which way works best for you. Like that. I'll finish it off. I'll tighten it up with the pull and drag technique. Oh, I call it the spin and drag. You end up with a beautiful, tight, super springy ball of dough like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get a bowl. Normally I'd cover it with a shower cap, but today I'm going to do a little time lapse for you. So I'm going to put a bit of plastic cling film over this, so you can see it double in size and grow over 1 hour. So in she goes, and I'll see you in 1 hour. Enjoy the rise. And after 1 hour, the dough would have doubled in size, like so. I hope you enjoyed the little time lapse. I'll try and speed it up a little bit more if I can. Originally, I recorded in an hour, I managed to get down to a minute, but I'll try and knock it down to 30 seconds so you can really see that rise speed up. So what we need to do at this point is move that to one side. We need to tip the dough out, knock out the air, weigh it and divide it. And I'll show you how to do that now. So out she goes. She's puffed up, she's lovely, look. She's still not sticking. Knock out the air, ball it up, and weigh her off. So I'll turn on the scales, and the dough weighs 885 grams. So I'll do 885. I want to make 8 rolls, so I'll share that by 8. That's 110.6 grams. What I'll do now is I'm going to weigh them at 110, and there's always going to be like the tiniest little nibbin of dough left over. If there is, no biggie. But I'm going to stick to 110, so each one of these will be the exact same size. Let's take our bench scraper. Oh, 111. 110. 104. 108. 109. Nearly there, come on. 110. There's 2. 109. And a little bit at a time. 110. That's 3. 108. And 110. 113, a little bit too much, so take a little bit off. 109. 10. Nearly there. 90. 103. 107. 110. Just put this down the middle. Bit of a dry throat there. 107. 109. And 110. What's this last one weigh? The last one weighs 113. So I'm just going to take off a nib. 108. 11, that's still a little bit on the heavy side. 110. And this is all that's left. And we've got 8 divided up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm ready to go. Now, I've got a tray here. I've lined with some parchment paper. And the dimensions for this tray are 16 inches wide and 12 inches deep. So wide, depth, 16 by 12. As you can tell, it's not an overly deep tray. The tray itself is only about an inch deep, something like that. So as for shaping, now there's different ways you can shape this. If you struggle with certain techniques, you can always flatten out the dough like this. Grab a corner, bring it in on itself. Grab a corner, bring it in on itself, and work yourself around until you meet the point that you started at. And then flip the dough over like this, and you'll end up with a little ball. Now you can do a cupping technique like this. So you're kind of like pinching your hands closed whilst going under the dough, and this will give you a very, very tight dough ball. See? So that's such a satisfying sound when you've got gloves on where you by the dough. Beautiful. And you end up with a dough ball like this. Or you can do what's called the baker's method. Now, what you do, let's say you got a dough ball like this. It's not round, it's messy. You want to hold your hand in this position, so you're forming a C, like this, almost like a claw. So your middle finger and your thumb bring together like this, finger on top, and you want to stay like this. And then what you do is go round in a circle, like so, massage in the dough, and then you're going to pick up some speed, continuously do this movement, round and around and around. It's one of those, once you do it and you get a feel for it, you will just glide through it. And this is how I like to shape all my rolls. And then stop, and done. You have a beautiful roll. Set that to one side. I'll tighten a little bit more on the tray. Now, I'm putting 8 on this tray, so I like to do it in like a grid, so it almost looks like a domino, alright? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let me just fast forward through this. Same technique again. And the last one. And that's 8. See how I've done them? So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go in the middle, 5 and 6, and then I go in the middle of those for 7 and 8. And this is how I position my rolls each time on the tray. And 99% of the time they won't stick together. But what I'm going to do for this burger recipe is I'm going to do it similar to like a McDonald's burger bun. So what I want you to do is take your hand and gently press down on each one of these dough balls, just to flatten out ever so slightly. Same with this one. Just work your way around, gently press and press all the way around each one. There we go. Now these are going to be covered up with a tea towel, and we're going to set the timer for 1 hour. When there's 10 minutes left on the timer, we're going to preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. If you're using a fan oven like me, an electric fan oven, set your oven to 160 degrees Celsius. The reason I'm saying this is because my oven runs 20 degrees hotter than indicated. And then what we're going to do, once the oven's preheated and just before they go in the oven, we're going to mix up an egg wash. And what is an egg wash? An egg wash is basically 1 egg cracked into a bowl, tiny little drizzle of milk, maybe even a thimble amount of milk. Whip it up till it's nice and runny. Then we're going to glaze the top of these and sprinkle on some sesame seeds before they go in the oven, but I'll show you how I do that when we get to that step. So I will see you soon. Set your timer for 1 hour. When there's 10 minutes left, get that oven preheating. It has now been 1 hour since I put these on the tray and let them have their final rise. 10 minutes ago I started to preheat my oven, and it's just reached 180 degrees Celsius. So now the final step. Remove the tea towel, and as you can see they have plumped up absolutely beautiful. So what we're going to do now is glaze them and put on some sesame seeds before they go in the oven. Now I've prepared a little egg wash here. All that is 1 egg, a little dash of milk, whipped it, beaten it really fine, really well, until it's really smooth, it's super runny, it's nice and loose, see? And what we're going to do is glaze the top of each one of these in a little egg wash, like so. We'll do 3 at a time until we get to the last 2. Brush it over like so. I'm using one of those silicone pastry brushes. And take your sesame seeds and sprinkle generously on top of each bun, just like this. Don't worry if you make a mess with the sesame seeds, it's bound to happen. Happens to me all the time. I like to make these every couple of weeks or so when we have burgers. They're absolutely beautiful. That's the first 3 done. We'll do these 2 next. Same again. Wash on the egg wash. And then on with the sesame seeds. Beautiful. Last 3. This will give a lovely shine to the finished buns as they're baking. Super shiny, super glossy, and they'll be so soft and tender inside. And when we've once I've done this and I've added the seeds, these are going to go in the preheated oven for 20 minutes. Now, when there's 5 minutes left, if you want to, you can take the oven out, take the tray out, rotate it round, put it back in for the last 5 minutes to get even baking. And that should just about do it. A little bit more for good measure. I love sesame seeds. It's like a nutty taste they give. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, in the oven, 20 minutes, bang on. Take them out and bang them on a rack. I'll see you in a moment. And that is the burger buns done. They've had 20 minutes in the oven and they've just come out. So the last thing to do now is to take them and transfer them to a wire rack, just like so. And if you're patient enough, let them completely cool before slicing for burgers. You can do ham, cheese rolls, BLT, bacon, lettuce, tomato. That's quite nice. The possibilities are endless. Now, you don't have to use sesame seeds. You can use poppy seeds. You can just do a plain egg wash. You can miss out the egg wash if you don't want to. You know, the choice really is yours, but the possibilities are endless to what you can do with these. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and next week it's going to be either a choice between a Japanese milk loaf, my own recipe, or pizza dough, and I'll show you how I'll make a pizza as well. But yeah, let me know what do you want for next week, Japanese loaf or pizza dough. So yeah, this has been a fun one, and I'll tell you what, the aroma in my kitchen right now is absolutely heavenly. And until then, I'll see you next time. This is Dawn of the Bread, and thank you for watching.